Week 1 is just about in the books, and we are back here at the Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast presented by Blue Spade Productions. I'm your co-host, Pat Curran, and join with me as always are Brad the Dad and Josh the Boss in studio, and we are excited as always to not talk about preseason or fantasy predictions. It's real, folks. Week 1 in the books, just about. We are recording this live watching the fourth quarter of the Bears-Packer game. Not live, but we are live right now watching the game. So let's check in with the guys and see what they have to say about Week 1. I know Josh over there is just through the roof excited.
I'm so excited. Auburn won. Denver won.
Oh, my God. No.
And it was some good football and some really bad football.
But it was real football.
It was so
Yes,
real.
it was.
It mattered.
I'm so excited.
Which is way better than what we've had for the past, 6 months?
Oh, so excited. Such a great week, guys.
Pretty tough to talk about NFL football, fantasy football in May. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited for Week 1 and seeing real football happen and get those wins.
Whew.
Those fantasy football wins. I might get one. One.
Like all season or this week?
Both?
I hope not, because that would mean people would no longer want to listen to our show.
No, you just do what I don't do. It's easy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
My teams are doing pretty well.
Great take there, Michael's got.
No problem.
Yeah, all right. Let's get into this. Some good football, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, so right now we got the Bears-Packer game on, and Mitchell Trubisky takes about a 5-yard loss off a botched snap. We're at 3 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Chicago clinging to a 3-point lead. And Aaron Rodgers almost died, but he didn't.
He did not die.
Nope, so.
Glad he got paid all that money to not die.
Yeah, but if you're a fantasy owner, man, you got to hold your breath on that one, because you know if you have Aaron Rodgers on your team, you used a high pick to get him.
No, I like your first word, but wasted.
Yeah, it's a bit of a waste, especially if he goes down Week 1.
Yeah.
You guys ready to get into some of these standouts?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, we got some, what are we calling them now? Bosses and bums?
Yeah, they're
Bosses and bums.
Ooh.
Bomb the Russians, crash into the sun. Now I'm dead. Like a boss.
All right, let's get in with our first boss. So, Brad, who you got?
Well, I'm taking Tyreek Hill. I mean, he started the game off with a punt return touchdown all
a
the
good
way to
way
the
to start.
house. And then he just went crazy. And it was so crazy, I didn't even write down the numbers. Actually, I did. It was 7 receptions for 169 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns, and then the punt return touchdown.
It's a good day. It's going to get you some points for your team. What a boss is right. Josh the Boss, who you got?
My boss was Emmanuel Sanders. I said this in the offseason. Whenever they signed Case Keenum, that he was going to utilize Emmanuel Sanders the same way he did Adam Thielen, and so far it's proven to be true. 10 catches, 135 yards for 1 touchdown. Emmanuel Sanders, you were a boss.
All right, and my boss is Mike Evans. Congratulations, everyone who picked Mike Evans reluctantly and probably disgusted with him, probably late second round, maybe even early third round. He finally produced wide receiver 1 numbers. He had 7 receptions for 147 yards and 1 touchdown when Tampa Bay beat New Orleans. We'll get into that later. What a game that was, though. And Ryan Fitzpatrick put on a show, too. He's our mini boss over there. He's definitely the vice boss of the week, too. But Mike Evans showed up and finally put up numbers that everyone has always wanted him to put up. So good job, Mike Evans, and all of those who picked him. I'm sure you're very happy with that production. Now let's get into some bums. My bum from Week 1, Deshaun Watson.
Breaks my
He was going before first quarterback off the board taken in some leagues. He was right up there with Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Guess what? He didn't come anywhere close to those numbers this week. He had 176 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Gross. He got you 11 points for PPR leagues.
Yeah, he's a total bum, dude.
Well, standard leagues too, I guess. But yeah, it was too bad. I expected bigger things.
As did I. I was very disappointed.
Josh, who's your bum over there?
So my bum was LaShawn McCoy. We kind of saw this coming, but I don't know if we saw it to this extent. Yeah, he had 1 catch for -1 yards and 7 rushes for 22 yards. LaShawn McCoy was a bum, but pretty much the entire Bills offense were bums. So Very
Yeah.
disappointing.
Yeah, Baltimore wrecked him.
Yep.
Thank you, Sean McDermott. You clearly want to get fired.
And then my bum comes from the same game as my boss, Travis Kelce.
What a
That
bum.
upset a lot of people. A lot of Travis
Probably
Kelce
the
owners.
number 2 tight end based on ADP in the offseason.
Friggin' bum.
Yeah.
1 reception for 6 yards. Good job.
Yeah. So in PPR, he got you 1.6 points.
But you know who wasn't a bum was Patrick Mahomes. So how does Kelsey? How did that happen? Is what I'm guessing.
I think we'll get into that when it comes down, break these games down.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of amazing, though. I mean, considering all the points that they put up, 38 points, and Travis Kelce was not really even involved. So, yeah, pretty interesting. All right, you guys ready to get into these breakdowns of these games?
Well, let's talk about some reports and rumors before we get into that. And
All
any
right.
injury updates here. One big one comes to mind because I own a share of him. Is Delaney Walker. Yeah, a very
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
I didn't know you were catching my reaction when I saw it on my phone pop up, and I saw that Delaney Walker's gone. So first, I think it's the first season I've ever drafted Delaney Walker and had him on my team, and I was looking forward to it. Steady tight end who's going to get you points every week, and Mariota likes him. Improved Tennessee offense, and that just
And Mariota's hurt too, but okay.
exactly. It's just a perfect storm over there in Tennessee, and it hurts.
There was also a storm because the game was delayed for us.
Yeah,
so-
exactly. Like it's just
Wow, you're just crushing it right now, dude.
yeah, no pun intended, but
Oh
I
my
like
God.
it.
There was another big injury. Doug Baldwin. He got hurt.
Did he get hurt or did he
No!
get really hurt?
God, please, no!
Okay, yeah. No, it was actually the other leg. So the
Oh.
one that he injured in the preseason, this was the other knee.
Yeah.
Wow. Sucks. But, the Seahawks still did pretty well in offense.
But if Pat wants to bring up a tight end injury, we can talk about another tight end that got hurt. Greg Olson, foot injury, second year in a row.
Yeah.
What was that, like 3 seconds into the game?
Yeah.
No.
It was second quarter.
I think he walked out of the tunnel and he's like, nope, trying to injure this real quick.
Well, he went on Saturday. He went on the injury report with back spasms, and then he got stepped on his foot, and then he was in a walking boot.
Yeah. And then Marquise, great one.
That's tough.
What you got to say about that, Brad?
It hurt, but I think he's actually healthy.
Hurt
he
real
was.
bad.
I think they said he could come back in the game. I think they knew they had no shot at that game, so I think they just set him on the bench and didn't want to risk him further injuring himself. I'm pretty sure he'll be back for next week. We'll obviously watch practice reports and see how this all works out, but as of now, I'm not too worried about it for the future.
Oh, well, if you're
I'd
not
be more worried about his quarterback play there.
Well, if you're not worried, then I'm not worried.
I mean, the
Jimmy's
quarterback play.
fine.
Oh, okay.
Another injury it is on the defensive side, but Luke Kuechly went down towards the end of that game.
No!
Okay.
That's just for the one IDP person that probably listens to this.
Yeah, exactly.
Love
Well,
you.
it is going to affect you if you have Carolina's defense, and depending on who goes up against Carolina the remaining of the season, that's a huge piece right there, and it could affect their offense if defense is on the field longer.
Yep.
I feel like there was another soft tissue injury to a hamstring.
Yeah, his name's Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, that's right. That's who it was. Leonard Fournette, and
Do
he
we know
didn't
the
finish
depth
the game.
of that? Is that Randall Cobb's going? Randall Cobb's going. So it's a 6-point game. Oh, he's going in. Get in. Oh!
I like
Wow.
how you're calling this like it's live and people aren't going to know the final result of this.
That's
Bears
all right. They know
just-
our passion for football. Randall
Oh.
Cobb ties it up. Extra point pending to give Green Bay a 1-point lead at
Oh, those-
2:13.
Those poor Bears.
Oh.
Khalil Mack's crying, and he played his heart out tonight. He's not crying. He's just tired. All right. Let's get in these game breakdowns, guys.
Hold on. We didn't talk about Fournette.
Okay.
Is that a weekly injury or Danica Patrick's that?
They said they're not worried about him missing any more games, but like we said, it's soft tissue. If he doesn't practice this week, I'd be really watching practice reports when it comes to Leonard
I'm
Fournette.
really okay if he misses week 2 because he's facing New England.
Okay, well, I don't ever want anyone to get hurt. But,
I said I'm okay if he misses week 2. I didn't say I don't ever want him to play again.
okay, well, still pretty rude. All right. Anyway,
We ready for this?
let's
Yeah,
do
let's
it.
get into some game breakdowns. Is that where we're at now? Game breakdowns?
Oh, yeah, we are.
All right. Am I kicking it off?
Yep. So let's fire this up, Pat, with Pittsburgh at Cleveland. And I know you got a little treat for us here. Do you want to start it off with that?
Yeah,
Start-
maybe
start everybody off with a
Well,
little
James
treat.
Conner had a great game, and you can't take anything away from him. But for all you Lev Bell fans, I just gotta say, Lev's on a vacation far away. Come back and play week 1. So many running backs I could have started, but Ajayi was on my bench. I just want to use my RB1 tonight. I don't want to lose Lev Bell this season. I ain't got many running backs left to choose from, and Jordan Wilkins kinda scares me. You know I'd do anything for a win, but starting Rob Kelly is a little far-fetched. I just wanna use Lev Bell tonight. I don't wanna lose Lev Bell this season. So yeah, that's how I feel about Lev Bell, and I know all those owners are probably just gonna play that on repeat all week, and he probably messed you up for some week 1 projections, and maybe even lost you week 1, especially if you didn't have James Conner, who absolutely balled out, and he got you 34 points in PPR leagues. You guys still recovering from that song? I know I am.
It was so awesome.
Thank you. I worked hard on that.
Yeah, that's great. Whew. I loved it.
Ben looked pretty rough. He had a lot of turnovers.
He looked like road Big Ben, though. That's what we expected.
Yeah, but they didn't lose.
They didn't lose. Neither team lost.
Nope. It was a tie. It was a week 1 tie, 21-21.
But the Browns are no longer losers.
They aren't, but
They're not winners.
I know this is going to sound crazy, but you could tell on that sideline, just overall, especially with Hugh Jackson, the Browns, I think they forgot how to win. And I'm not saying that as a joke. Like, I genuinely think, like, just their players, like, they just don't know.
They don't know how to win.
Oh, my God. Even Jarvis Landry and Carlos Hyde, the guys who came over from other teams, I mean, they still didn't come from winning teams.
I think they will win a game this year.
I think they're up. I think they're in the 5-6 numbers.
I think it's
5 or
very
6
possible.
wins. They look good. They
So-
played a tough team, and they just didn't come out on top.
So far, they're undefeated.
Yeah, sure. So far, they're undefeated. Before I break down some stats and show you Juju Smith-Schuster, just want to throw, especially to Rob, who always likes to, tell me his opinions on who I pick and where I pick them. I guess I picked Juju and maybe a little early in a few leagues.
Okay.
Well, he had 5 receptions for 120 yards today, so he did pretty good. AB put up AB numbers, 9 receptions, 93 yards on a touchdown. We all know what James Conner did.
He did do James Conner stuff.
Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger, I think, had 5 turnovers. Just him.
But he didn't lose the game.
But he didn't lose the game. Sure.
I cannot stress that enough. Neither team lost the game.
Chris Boswell didn't do much. I don't know if you guys even want to talk about kickers.
No one cares about kickers.
And Tyrod Taylor did okay. I think he passed for 1 and threw for 1. Or, sorry, rushed for 1 and threw for 1. Touchdown.
Yes, passed for 1 and threw for 1.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
1
he
and
ran
1.
for a nice one. It was like a 20-yard tee. He looked really good on that run.
Yeah, it was bad weather. Let's not get this. It was rainy, nasty,
That
windy
doesn't
day.
mean you should tie.
No, you shouldn't tie, but I'm saying for fantasy stats.
Yeah, and Jarvis had over 100 yards receiving.
Hey, Josh Gordon had a touchdown.
Flash caught that tee at the end of the game with like 2 minutes left to tie it up, right?
He had another chance at 1 too. Tyrod underthrew him.
Yeah, so, the Browns, they're on their way to win a game. They just need better coaching.
I don't think we saw any Nick Chubb. Carlos Hyde didn't do much, and Duke Johnson, we saw why he got paid in the offseason.
It was weird. There was one series where they had Carlos Hyde in. He ran really well. They pulled him out. They put Nick Chubb in for like 5 plays. Pulled him out. Put Duke Johnson in for 5. It was like, why not let a guy just stay going?
No,
Hugh Jackson.
you don't understand. You don't have to understand. It's not. That's why you don't get paid the big bucks.
Like I said, I think they forgot how to win.
Oh, well, yeah, maybe.
Anyway, that's the breakdown. It was a tie, 21-21. Just want to put it a little side. I love that Ben Roethlisberger, when he's in the really either under center or taken from the shotgun, he does not drop back. He just stands there. It's awesome to watch.
Did you guys see the video of him in practice like last week?
Yeah, with the foam things.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
told us about that. Yeah,
Yeah, Mason Rudolph did it, and he dodged all the foam things.
yeah,
they
did
threw
what he
on
was
him.
supposed to.
And Big Ben shoulder checked 1, kicked 1, jumped up to hit 1 that they threw over his head.
But that's what he does in games.
Yeah. Blew my
All right.
mind. All
What's
right,
our
let's
next
get to the next
breakdown?
game. It's my game. Tennessee at Miami.
Oh,
So I'm going to start this off with Marcus Mariota. Looked bad, and then he left with an elbow injury. Not sure the severity of it yet. Probably waiting on tests tomorrow to come out before we find out what's wrong with him. And then Blake Gabbert came in, and all I'm going to say about Blake Gabbert is yuck.
Blaine.
Whatever. That's how much I care about
His
him.
name is Blaine.
Whatever. Blaine Gabbert. If you're starting Blaine Gabbert, better be 2 quarterback, 16-team league.
More like a 32-team league or something.
Well, 2 quarterbacks, that'd be 32.
Oh, 2 quarterbacks.
Do the math.
You're welcome.
Keep going.
All right. And then we had Deion Lewis, had a really good game. So Deion Lewis went on 16 rushes for 75 yards, a touchdown. Then he had 5 receptions for 35 yards. I think just game script kind of worked Derrick Henry out of the game and put him more in. They were down, so they had to play Deion Lewis.
Or Deion Lewis is the better back.
And also, this game was just an ugly game. It got stopped twice because of lightning.
That's no joke.
Within 5.
Yeah. And then Derrick Henry came in.
I would have ran off the field.
Derrick Henry had a reception for 5 yards
Hey.
and 26 yards on the ground. He did have like a 20-yard touchdown called back because Delaney Walker, who we've already talked about, was holding.
I do want to add this. I've watched almost all of the Chicago game. I haven't seen Jordan Howard drop a pass yet. He's caught like 4 or 5 of them tonight.
Yeah.
Well, they're
Good for
still
you,
down.
Jordan Howard.
All right.
Oh.
And then
Who's he
Corey
throwing
Davis was 6'4", 62, which is actually, I think, a pretty good line when you look at Corey Davis with the turmoil they had at quarterback there and just the weirdness of the game. Not a bad line. I mean, you'd like to see him get in the end zone once, but
Yeah, not bad.
not bad. And then in Miami, right? So Miami, Ryan Tannehill didn't look terrible.
He
Okay.
did. You're right.
That's the most positive thing you could say. He didn't look terrible.
He had 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, which, I mean, if you were streaming a quarterback, you wouldn't have been upset with him. He would have been better play than what I saw with Marcus Mariota this week.
Would have been better than Deshaun Watson.
The running game, though, I just don't understand this running game. Frank Gore, 9 rushes, 61 yards. Kenyon Drake, 14 rushes, 48 yards. I think the old man Frank Gore might be taking over this job. What do you guys think?
Maybe they're limiting his touches.
He is a
to
better
save
running
him.
back.
Well, they are limiting touches. We even talked about that. Adam Gase wasn't letting him practice, and he almost fought Adam Gase in practice.
Who did?
Frank Gore wanted to practice, and Adam Gase is like, "We're saving you for the season." He says, "I don't care."
But we're talking about practice.
Talking about practice. Kenny Stills. Did anybody start Kenny Stills?
Probably not.
Nope.
I would love to see what start percentage was for Kenny Stills. I'm going to look it up while I talk to you guys. He had 106 yards, 2 touchdowns.
We all saw that coming.
Yeah.
Talk about a wide receiver that finally showed up and produced some numbers. Like Mike Evans.
15% start percentage on Kenny Stills.
15%. Oh, that's higher than I thought it would
15% of
be.
these people are geniuses.
No, or they were desperate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one
they
of the
had
two.
terrible drafts.
It looked like you were desperate.
So Clay Matthews just hit Mitchell Trubisky high on a 4th down play, and it gave him a little bit more life. Good job. Good job, Clay Matthews.
Yeah, he's looked pretty bad today. Okay.
Cool. And that's about it from this game. There wasn't really much else to talk
Who
about.
pulled out the W?
Well, Miami did. Nobody cares about W's, though,
Oh, okay.
especially in this game.
This is fantasy, son.
All right, next game. You ready, Josh?
I'm ready, dude.
All right. Let me just pull it up here.
San Francisco and Minnesota. Wow, what a great game. Jimmy Garoppolo got his first loss. This wasn't really a surprise because Minnesota has an amazing defense.
Oh.
Golf clap, golf clap. Yes.
What was that? I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, no. So anyway,
Unless you don't like
Minnesota, amazing defense. The running game was very confusing. Alfred Morris had 12 rushes. Breida had 12 rushes. Neither one of them were really involved in the passing game. I was kind of surprised about that. But who was? Whatever his name is. Juszczyk. 1 catch for 56 yards. Surprise. He's their best receiving running back, and he's a fullback. Garoppolo had 261 yards, 1 touchdown, but 3 interceptions. This is his first loss as a quarterback, and this is the first time that he threw 3 interceptions. So, sorry, Jimmy Garoppolo. We kind of expected it. Now, on the other side of the ball, Kirk Cousins. He had a great debut, 244 yards, 2 touchdowns. He completed a little over 50% of his passes, which was kind of a disappointment. We thought that he would fare better against his defense, but we can't really argue with the results. They got the W, and he's not going to care about that. But if you started him, you were kind of hoping for a little bit more. Now, as far as the running game goes, Dalvin Cook, 16 carries for 40 yards? Ugh.
And a fumble.
Gross. We were expecting more, Dalvin. You made us very disappointed. Then Latavius Murray got 11 carries himself for 42 yards. So he actually was a better running back on the day. Now, Thielen had a very Thielen day. 6 catches, 102 yards, no touchdowns. Very Thielen-esque. Dalvin Cook did have 6 catches for 55 yards, though, which was very good. And then Stephon Diggs had the touchdown. He got it for 3 catches, 43 yards, and 1 T. And then your boy, Rudolph. Rudolph the red zone reindeer got a touchdown as well. He only had
course
1
he did.
catch, but 1 for 11 for 1.
I like it.
You know what's funny about his 1 catch, though? 3 other tight ends on that team caught a ball before him. It seemed like. I think it was only 2, but it felt like 3 other tight ends.
Morgan and Conklin both caught passes before him, but Rudolph got the teat, so that's what matters.
That's what you got him for.
Yeah, it was an alright game, but it wasn't nearly as bad as one of the games I'm going to get to preview for you guys a little bit later. Anyway, that's it for me right now. I think it is Pat's turn again.
Pat, you're up with
Yeah,
Houston.
it looks like the Bears
at
just lost
New
the
England.
game. Mitchell Trubisky fumbled the ball on 4th down.
It's a very Chicago thing to do, even with Marlon Mack.
All right, Houston at New England. New England won, obvi. But it was closer than I thought it would be. So like I said earlier, and he was my bum at the beginning, Deshaun Watson, But he didn't play a lot in preseason, and it showed because he only had 176 yards, a touchdown and a pick, and a fumble on the very first offensive snap for Houston of the 2018 season. He fumbled on a run-pass option that he kind of handed off to Lamar Miller, and then as Lamar Miller was like a yard or 2 ahead of him, he was like, never mind, and pulled it out of Lamar Miller's hands and then to the turf. So good job, Deshaun Watson. Really smart there.
Okay.
Lamar Miller had a great game, though. He had 20 carries for 98 yards.
Miller.
And he caught a pass for 11. DeAndre Hopkins, he had 8 receptions for 78 yards, no touchdowns. So you kind of expect more out of DeAndre Hopkins, especially where you're drafting him.
Yeah.
Alfred Blue, 5 carries, 36 yards, and a touchdown. And then Ellington, 4 catches, 37 yards, and a touchdown. That's Bruce Ellington, by the way, not Andre Ellington.
Yeah, we all saw that coming.
No, we didn't. Exactly. That's what I mean. There's your number 2 receiver, I guess, in Houston. Now, the Patriots. Brady, 277 yards, completed 26 passes on 39 attempts, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick that was not his fault. It was tipped at the line. Can't blame him. Never his fault. Rex Burkhead had 18 carries for 64 yards. Jeremy Hill, 4 carries, 25 yards, and he also is out for the season. BT Dubs.
He's out for the season?
Yeah, he got hurt.
What happened?
He went down.
No, but like what part did he injure? His leg or something?
I want to say it was his knee.
Is his knee?
Yeah.
Wow.
But Sony Michel wasn't active, so
Yeah, so they still have James White, who had a great game, Rex Burkhead, and then Sony Michel once he's back, which should be next week.
I was kind of disappointed that Rex wasn't more involved in the passing game today.
he turned the ball over early.
We know what that means to Bill.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what
So if
happened.
Jeremy Hill hadn't got hurt,
James White, 5 carries, 18 yards, and then 4 receptions, 38 yards, and a touchdown. James White, I mean, that's
James White.
I know.
That's what he
you
does.
do not like to start him?
Number
And you're-
1 wide receiver.
No, that would be Gronkowski.
No,
7
I said wide
receptions.
receiver.
I think that's Philip
That would be
Dorsett.
Philip Dorsett.
Yeah.
So Gronk and Dorsett both had 7 catches. Gronk had 123 yards and a touchdown. Dorsett had 66 yards and a touchdown. Cordell Patterson made his impact known, probably because of the lack of depth there in New England. And they kind of had to. He ran a lot of jet sweeps.
A lot of them.
And Tom Brady, 2 yards closer to 1,000 yards. That's it.
Rushing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a bad
You
man.
talking about the 4th down sneak they had?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
talking about career rushing yards, 2 yards closer. I think he's 29 yards away now. That's all I got.
Any major takeaways from this? Philip Dorsett, you picking him up next week
Yes, I would.
until Julian Edelman comes back?
Yeah, even if he's back, because Chris Hogan didn't do much.
Yeah, so Chris Hogan kind of got shut down that game, right? Or they just didn't go that way.
Well, yeah.
The way it seemed like they weren't really.
Well, he's their
looking for
number 1 wide receiver, and he's getting number 1 cornerbacks on him. And Chris Hogan is not a guy you put number 1 cornerbacks on normally.
Yeah, watching this game a lot, it seemed like Houston's defense, they were just kind of lost on a lot of those plays.
Tom Brady has that effect on defenses.
Yeah, the Honey Badger found the ball, though.
Yeah, he did. He did honey badger things.
All right,
Anyway, I
let's-
expect Houston to be better. New England, stay the same.
I just expect him to be better.
all right, moving on. We're going to go to the... You know what that was? That was the offensive explosion in Tampa Bay at New Orleans.
Oh my gosh. We all saw this coming.
Yeah, everybody, right? Fitz Magic out there making magic happen. So we talked about some bosses, right? We talked about Mike Evans. Well, let's get down to Fitz Magic's numbers. On 21 completions, he had 417 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he had 12 rushes for 36 yards and a touchdown on the ground.
5 touchdowns?
And one of them's rushing. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, he's your QB1 for the week, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my gosh. Good job. Good for you, buddy.
And then Peyton Barber actually got quite a bit of work. Almost got 20 carries. He got 19 carries for 69 yards, which isn't great, but I mean, it's about what you expect from Peyton Barber, especially the way this game was going, where it was all through the air
And
for
Rojo,
both sides.
Yeah, and Rojo wasn't even active.
Yeah. And then Mike Evans, we already talked about that, the 147 yards, 1 touchdown. Then Deshaun Jackson, who we talked on this in a preview show about being a best ball play. Well, if you started him if you have him in best ball, you are so happy. 5 receptions for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He was so open.
These are his Eagles numbers, like back in the day. You remember him back when he was on the Eagles and he would put up these numbers? We haven't seen this in a long time from Deshaun Jackson.
He was so open.
But wait, there's more. So the tight end that got the work there, O.J. Howard got 2 catches for 54 yards. Cameron Brate got 0, which I think we talked about with Fitzmagic being there. That O.J. Howard's probably the tight end he's going to, not Cameron Brate.
Yep.
Cameron Brate did get a few targets, but they weren't completions, obviously. And then Godwin, 3 catches, 41 yards, and a touchdown. And his touchdown actually came early when the game was actually somewhat close before it became a kind of a blowout for a little bit. And then New Orleans, Drew Brees said, "Oh, a shootout." I remember when I used to play in these. So I'll just go ahead and throw for close to 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. He threw the ball 45 times in the game, which I think he did maybe 2 or 3 times last year.
Yeah, Michael Thomas did
So
great.
Michael Thomas, 16 receptions
So many.
for 180 yards.
That's a lot.
Only 1 touchdown, but holy guacamole.
That's Chipotle
I think he should have been a
guacamole.
boss.
Yeah, he put up a lot of numbers. And then Alvin Kamara on the ground, doo-doo. He did get 2 touchdowns on the ground, but only 29 yards. But he got 9 catches for 112 yards and 1 touchdown through the air.
That's Kamara's game, though.
Good job, Kamara.
And then Mike Gillislee, who everybody thought was going to do something, he turned the ball over in a critical situation, which kind of made the game get out of even more control. So obviously don't look at Mike Gillislee anymore, and he only had like 4 yards rushing.
Friggin' bum.
But another best ball guy, Ted Ginn Jr.,
Yeah, he showed up.
5 catches, 68 yards, a touchdown.
This game was bananas, dude.
And then Benjamin Watson, even there with 4 catches and 44 yards.
Yeah, he did.
So it was
Remember
an
last
offensive.
week when we did our week 1 preview? Josh was like, "Yeah, Saints gonna blow up."
Well, they did.
Yep. So did Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we didn't see that one coming.
I think we saw the Saints offense. I don't think we saw these kind of passing numbers because I think we thought it was going to be a blowout. But I was really surprised. Maybe Jameis Winston doesn't have this job when he comes back.
And by the way, in the preview, before I knew this, I did say not to start Cameron Meredith. He wasn't even active. So
Yeah, good job. Woo.
I nailed it.
Good job.
You got one right. Still counts.
I'm an expert.
Yeah. But yeah, this game was crazy. I don't really know Ted Ginn if you really want to start him all the time. Obviously, Michael Thomas, Kamara, Breeze. Benjamin Watson could be a great little tight end play, especially if you're a Delaney Walker owner who needs to replace a tight end.
Oh,
That could be somewhere to go.
R.I.P.
And as long as Fitzmagic's in there, O.J. Howard's probably going to get more targets than Brate. Anything else you guys want to add? D-Jack's doing this all season?
Dude, no, don't start D-Jackson.
Yep.
Okay.
Wide receiver 1.
All right. So I got the next game, and I got the Jags and Giants. What a fun game to watch. Just kidding. No, it was awful. I didn't really start picking up till the third quarter. This game was miserable to watch, but I did it anyway because that's what we do for you people. Bortles. Bortles was not a QB1. He did very Bortles things. 18 for 33. 18 out of 33 for 176 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The interception, by the way, I believe from was Janoris Jenkins, and it was incredible. He was like tiptoed along the sidelines. It was beautiful. Good job, Janoris Jenkins. You did something with your life. TJ Yeldon actually looked like a pretty good running back. He had 51 yards on the ground, and he caught 3 passes for 18 yards and a touchdown. The touchdown that ended up sealing the game for him. So good job. I mean, TJ Yeldon, he looked like a pretty good back, especially after Leonard Fournette went out. But we know as soon as Leonard Fournette comes back in, it's his job. He had 9 carries for 41 yards, and he caught 3 passes for 14 yards, which was good. You like to see Leonard Fournette get a little bit involved, but no one really stood out. In the beginning of the game, it looked like Keelan Cole was going to be the guy, but that passing offense was just not there. And then on the other side of the ball, Eli started out this game 11 for 11. Okay? And then he completed 12 more passes the rest of the game. So, yeah.
It's a Jacksonville defense.
It's an incredible defense, but we kind of saw that. And he had 224 yards, no touchdowns. That's the kind of the stinger right there. And then 1 interception. Saquon Barkley, though. Saquon Barkley had a good game, but don't be deceived by these numbers. 18 carries, 106 yards with 1 touchdown. But the big thing came from a long run. It was 67-yard run from Saquon Barkley. So that eats up, 2/3 of the yards that he gained on the ground. So don't be misled by those numbers, even though it was a really good game. I said it before and I'll say it again. He's kind of like an Adrian Peterson type running back. He wears you down, hits you, and then eventually he breaks one. Derrick Henry, Adrian Peterson, similar guys.
You know who he really reminds me of? Is more like Chris Johnson.
Yeah?
Where he's going to break one big one, but the rest of them are going to be kind of meh. You're just waiting for him to break that big one.
So you think he's going to be SB2K?
Maybe.
Not this year. But no, this was a great defense, and the fact that he had over 100 yards against this defense was good. Odell Beckham Jr., 11 catches for 111 yards. It was a pretty good day in PPR especially. So even in standard, he still got you 11 points. So not too bad. Sterling Shepard, 5 catches for 48 yards. Evan Ingram was really the one who kind of let you down in this game. The tight ends on both sides of the ball really hurt you. Neither one did too well. Evan Ingram got 2 catches for 18 yards, and then Safarian Jenkins, 3 catches for 25 yards. Kind of really let you down. Outside of that, none of the receivers for either team really did well. It was really a defensive game, guys. Really a defensive game. But just wait till the next game I get to preview, which is Baltimore. And looking forward to that one. Anyway, y'all's turn.
One team played defense in that next game you got. So
Y'all's
Yeah,
turn.
they did. But before we get there, let's talk about a bad defense. Cincinnati at Indy, Pat.
yeah, so kind of a high-scoring game. Surprisingly, though, Cincinnati really only had 3 guys showing up on the stat sheet for you in, we'll say 4 guys for fantasy relevance. And that's first one, Andy Dalton. I think we talked about last week about streaming option, decent streaming option. He got you 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick. Relatively accurate, too. That was 28 completions on 28 attempts. Joe Mixon, though, man, he showed up, was the running back everyone thought he could be this week. 17 carries for 95 yards and a touchdown. He added 5 catches for 54 yards out of the backfield. So he's probably your right up there with A.J. Green as most point getter there for fantasy points from Cincinnati. A.J. Green had 6 receptions, 92 yards, and a touchdown. Tyler Eifert, welcome back. Played a game. He got 3 catches of 44 yards. And that's really it. And surprisingly, they put up 34 points. Cincinnati did, and they beat Indy 34-23. But they also got a defensive touchdown there, too. But yeah, Andy Dalton, Joe Mixon, A.J. Green, and Tyler Eifert maybe as a streaming option. That's pretty much going to be – that's how Cincinnati's going to be this year. And your boy John Ross over there, the really fast guy? Yeah,
You got
1
a
reception,
touchdown?
3 yards.
But he got a touchdown.
1 reception, 3 yards.
If you're going to go 1 for 3, it better be for 1.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
1
job.
for 3 for 1. Solid. And let's not mention Tyler Croft also caught a pass for 9 yards. If your
Yeah,
name's
we're
Tyler,
not going to mention that.
If your
So,
name's Tyler,
moving
you
on
get
to the
catch.
Colts. Andrew Luck, 319 yards. He threw the ball 53 times, so that shoulder's looking good, even though he injured it in snowboarding. And he threw 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. Jordan Wilkins, 14 carries, 40 yards. Kind of a running back by committee, but he's the one who got the most yards. And, yeah, they threw the ball a lot, so a lot of people are coming away with numbers here. Jack Doyle, though, 7 catches, 60 yards. Ryan Grant, 8 catches, 59 yards. Eric Ebrom, 4 catches, 51 yards, and 1 touchdown. So everyone was kind of wondering, like, who's going to be the tight end? Is it Doyle? Is it Ebron? Well, looks like it's both. But Ebron caught the touchdown this week, so it's Ebron. T.Y. Hilton, 5 catches, 46 yards, and a touchdown. Yeah, before that touchdown, he was really not looking like he was going to be a bit of a bust this week for you. Naheem Himes, 7 catches, 33 yards. He added 19 rushing yards to that. But all in all, this isn't a losing effort. Bengals came in, rallied late, and spoiled Andrew Luck's return.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're going to throw the ball 53 times, you're going to have a lot of people producing. But it's still the same
Yeah, I
thing.
mean, you got Jack Doyle, Eric Ebron, Ryan Grant, which I don't know how many people started him.
Hold on. Adam Vinatieri hitting 50-yard field goals.
Oh, now we're going to talk about carries?
Get ready for that drug test tomorrow, buddy.
Yeah, he went 3 for 4 with his field goals. Long
for
at
50.
51.
I
Got you 11 points.
think the biggest takeaway from this is that the Colts still cannot run the ball.
No.
Despite the improvements of their offensive line, they still can't run. And, I mean, Andrew Luck not playing for over a year still had to throw the ball 53 times. So,
Yeah, and he also got probably I can cuss, but they just left him in the game.
Oh, my God, he got his bell rung.
yeah, but I mean,
Oh, man.
he's a gamer.
They didn't even stop to look at him. No,
No.
no. They just keep playing.
He does not remember anything after that hit. I promise you that. That was vicious.
He's a total gamer, dude.
Well, he probably should have went and gotten seen the doctor.
Yeah, potato, tomato.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be drinking his food.
All right, we ready to move on to the next game?
Let's do it.
Washington at Arizona. Revenge game. Adrian Peterson. I mean, he actually looked really good. If it wasn't for that fumble he had on his long, 50-yard reception.
Can you call it a revenge game, though?
I know, it's not really a revenge game.
He
but
played him for 6 games.
I mean, but he did. Okay. Alex Smith did Alex Smith things. He's keeping up what he did last year. 21 completions, 255 yards, 2 touchdowns. His favorite target was actually Paul Richardson. That's who he targeted the most, with 6 targets.
I mean, that's what they gave the money to.
Yeah, I think that, but he only caught 4 of them.
Yeah.
Jamison Crowder had 3 catches for 32 yards. Jordan Reed, 4 for 48 and a touchdown
When he's healthy,
when he's healthy.
he's so
And
good.
then Chris Thompson looked really good too. He only had 5 rushes, but he made 65 yards with that. 6 catches, 63 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, they clearly want to keep him involved in this passing game.
Yeah, so Adrian Peterson carried the ball a lot, 26 rushes. If you guys remember from last year, when he would carry the ball a lot in one game, the next game would be pretty bad for him. I don't know if that trend's going to continue this year, but he is an older back with a lot of miles on those legs. So we'll see how they continue with this. Surprised of that game was that Samaje Perine was the inactive. Fat Rob actually got a little bit of work. So
He's skinny
Still
now.
far-fetched.
He's skinny, Rob.
what? But, I mean, Alex Smith was what Alex Smith is. Let's move over to the Arizona side.
Yes.
We'll start with David Johnson, right? Because that's the player that everybody wanted to start. Super disappointing game. He saved it with a touchdown and some receptions. He had 5 receptions, 30 yards. But on 9 carries, he only got 37 yards. That Washington defense was crowding the line and said, we're not letting David Johnson beat us. Sam Bradford, do your worst. And Sam Bradford did his worst.
I
On
think that was
20
his best.
completions, he had 153 yards and an interception.
Dude, that's his best.
Yeah, he did not look comfortable back there. I don't know how long he stays a starter. Josh Rosen probably going to be getting a look before too long.
Kissed by Rosen?
Maybe.
Mm.
Maybe. Fitzgerald looked good. He had 7 catches for 76 yards. He did what Fitzgerald does. No touchdowns with Hurts, but when Bradford's out there looking bad, that's what happens.
Yeah, he's so bad.
All in all, this game was not that fun to watch because it was kind of over pretty soon, honestly. Towards the end there, the Arizona had a little bit of chance maybe to come back, but they were just turning the ball over. Sam Bradford sack fumble at the end to lose the game. Anything you guys want to add? It's not.
No.
I mean, Paul Richardson may be a speculative add next week because he did get targeted the most, but he is going to be one of those boom bust guys down the field, hopefully catching a few balls.
I'm going to wait and see for Paul Richardson, I think. It was just the game got out of hand so quick, and I don't know. I'm not really sold on who their guy is just yet.
I mean, Jordan Reed's healthy. That's the big thing, right? That's the biggest. He played a game and came out of a game healthy.
Yeah, I mean, they clearly wanted to run the ball. They ran it a lot. There's a reason they were doing that is because they don't have a lot of faith in their passing game just yet. So we'll wait and see that one out.
If nothing more you guys want to add to that, we'll move it on to Buffalo at Baltimore. Take it away, Josh.
Well, this won't take long. So Nathan Peterman,
Hey, they covered the over.
did they?
I'm pretty sure.
Well, because of Baltimore's 47 points. It was such a gross game. Baltimore even sat their starters. Nathan Peterman, he wasn't six-pack Peterman today. Just 2 interceptions. Just 2, which was good, considering he threw 18 passes and only completed 5 of them. They were out of the game in the first quarter. He threw for 24 yards. He got benched for Josh Allen in the third.
So did you see, I think it was middle way through the second quarter, Joe Flacco had more completions than Nathan Peterman had yards passing?
It's
Sounds
so
about right.
gross. It's so gross. I mean, and then the 2 quarterbacks between the 2 of them didn't have 100 yards passing. That's how, and they threw the ball over 33 times, and it was just bad. It was just bad. LeSean McCoy, he really hurt you here. The whole Buffalo offense, there's really nothing to like about this whole thing. I wish I could see exactly toilet bowl. Kelvin Benjamin, if you started him, you regretted it. If you started anyone from this offense, you kind of regretted it. There's nothing positive for me to say. Now on the other side of the ball, Baltimore, Joe Flacco actually got to take a little break. He had to take a break because they were blowing them out. 236 yards for 3 touchdowns. He didn't even mean to throw 3 touchdowns. He did it on accident. Kenny Diggs got involved. So Alex Collins sat down because they were blowing them out so bad. They're like, just save yourself. Just wait till next week, bud.
Doesn't help fantasy owners though.
No, that is the
He
biggest
got his
takeaway.
touchdown. He got out of there.
He got his
Yeah.
touchdown, and then he's like, all right, so see you guys next week. He got 1 catch for 6 yards. See, the thing is like even with all these points scored, no one really had a crazy game outside of Joe Flacco. I mean, you had Willie Snead, 4 catches for 49 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, because people started him.
Yeah, because you guys all saw that coming. And then you saw John Brown, 3 catches, 44 yards and a touchdown. Saw that coming. Crabtree, though. Crabtree got his touchdown. 3 for 38 and a touchdown. Good for you, buddy. And then, like we
Everyone got a
said,
touchdown in this game.
that they love to have the tight end involved. And between 3 tight ends, there were 9 catches. Boyle got 40 yards. They all had 3. Boyle got 40 yards. Williams got 32. And Andrews got 31. So we know they like to use their tight ends. It's no surprise there. Even Lamar Jackson got in the game. So everyone got a little piece, but it was an awful game.
It was week 5 preseason for Baltimore, is what it was.
Yeah, it was. Yes, it was.
I think it was the surprising thing with Lamar Jackson was that he was actually active and RG3 was inactive. I think that was the biggest surprise. And they actually had, before the game was a complete blowout, they were using some packages with him in there.
Well, he did run the ball 7 times, and he got 39 yards in the
Yeah,
ground.
that's what I'm saying. Before it got too out of hand, they were actually showing some little gadget plays with Lamar Jackson.
I mean, when you have someone that's that gifted, you want to get them involved, and I can't blame them for doing that. But it was like they didn't even really get to try that out too much because the game was just so out of hand. It was a bad game. So anyway, on to you guys. Your next game.
All right, Pat, you got Dallas at Carolina,
Yeah, this is
and
a fun
Jason
one to
Garrett
watch.
can go learn how to coach somewhere else.
He's got to be fired soon, right?
I think him and Hugh Jackson needs to just move on to high school. Maybe they'll get some wins down there.
Ooh.
This wasn't a fun game to watch. It was hard to watch because I tried. I really did.
There's a lot of questionable calls.
Yeah, because this was the only 4:30 start time game that I had to cover, and why
Did you
couldn't
regret
they
it?
split up? Maybe put this one at 1:00 start so I didn't have to watch it. Anyway, Dak Prescott did terrible. He had 170 yards. That's it. That's literally it. No
And
touchdowns,
he looked
no picks.
bad. He missed wide open dudes like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, he's just
Bad.
The offense looked bad.
yes, exactly.
Bad.
That's period. Dot. The offense looked bad, and that's all. That's all I have to say about that. I'll give you some Zeke numbers though. He had 15 carries, 69 yards, and a touchdown.
Whew, thank you for that touchdown.
Yep, and he had 3 receptions for 17 yards. He's the only shining light in here, and they really didn't utilize him like they should have.
Well, Cole Beasley did pretty well, right?
7 catches, 73 yards. So
Yeah.
14 points in PBR.
That's a good Beasley's game.
Who's starting Cole Beasley?
Well, I mean, I said he was my sleeper pick for this year.
Yeah.
He's my sidekick, so
We'll get
that
to
looks
that
like
in a
that might
second.
come to fruition because there's
Deontay Thompson was the next up with 3 catches and 27 yards, and nobody started him. Alan Hearns, Rob, I know you're really big on him. He had 1 catch for 20 yards, so good job with that. Oh, Michael Gallup, the other guy you're big on, 1 catch for 9 yards.
It was actually funny though. Whenever I was watching the game, and Troy Aikman's like, "Yeah, this was the big free agent acquisition." Alan Hearns is like, and he's good, but he's just not really fast.
Yeah, that's going to hurt you in the NFL when you're not fast and you're a wide receiver. Moving on to the Panthers. Cam Newton, thank God he could run because he didn't do much with the arm. 161 yards. That's it, just like Dak. Except he had 13 carries, 58 yards, and a touchdown, which makes Cam Newton's value, like every year, worth it to have on your team and start.
Boom.
Christian McCaffrey, 10 carries, 50 yards. Again, if you're just going off his legs, not going to help you. He had 6 catches for 45 yards, but no touchdowns.
Whew.
So that's going to hurt some owners. CJ 3K, 7 carries, 35 yards. Devin Funchess, 3 receptions, 41 yards. And this is relevant because DJ Moore, remember him?
Yeah. He got no catches, right?
Yeah, he had 1 rush for 3 yards.
Yeah.
Not even a catch.
I think he was targeted maybe twice.
Yeah, I don't even know. I'm not even going to take time to look it up because remember last week when you said DJ Moore over Devin Funchess? Ooh.
Well, neither one of them were great.
Well, at least Devin Funchess got you something.
You shouldn't have started either one of them.
And, yep, we already talked about it, but Greg Olsen, he had 2 catches for 33 yards. So he was being productive. And then he died.
No! God, please, no!
Yeah.
But you got to kind of expect it with Greg Olsen and his history.
Well, now we're getting ready to talk about that foot surgery, so that's
Yeah,
good.
again, the second one.
Well, he didn't have surgery, remember?
Oh, did he not?
I don't think he had surgery.
I thought he had the one surgery, but
He just let it
neither the
heal.
second one.
Either way, he's having
All
surgery.
right,
now.
Carolina won 16-8. Those are the numbers from it for your fantasy relevance, if that's what you want to call this game. It was boring. Wasn't a lot of numbers put up. Give Zeke the ball.
Yep, that was my big. Well, so 2 takeaways. Zeke, he would have a good run, and then Jason Garrett would split him out wide. I don't know why, but whatever.
Because he wants to be fired.
And then C.J. Anderson. So when he actually got to work, he ran through the middle better than Christian McCaffrey did. Christian McCaffrey had a goal line fumble, which kind of hurt his day too, where he was going to get in the end zone. So I could actually see C.J. Anderson cutting into a little bit of this workhorse role we thought Christian McCaffrey was going to get.
No, I'm not buying it.
C.J. Anderson looked better running up the middle than Christian McCaffrey did.
No, he didn't. I watched the game.
All right.
What's our next game? Unless, Josh, you want to add anything?
No,
other
I
than
still
your-
believe in Christian
Well,
McCaffrey.
yeah,
I'm not ready to
yeah.
give up.
I know. I'm just saying it may keep your eyes out. Watch out. All right. Next game, Kansas City at the Chargers.
This
So-
is much more exciting.
Oh, wow. I did not see this coming.
So Patrick Mahomes, right? All week we talked about he could have a good game because they're going to play from behind. But guess what? Kansas City was never behind in this game. Because after the first 3 and out, the Chargers did. We already talked about it, but Tyreek Hill took it to the house. Then Tyreek Hill took it to the house again. And then Tyreek Hill one more time took it to the house.
He was the boss.
What we said was 169 yards and two touchdowns. But a third one on a punt return.
She's so fast.
So Patrick Mahomes looked, I'm going to say, amazing. If it wasn't for Fitzmagic game, Patrick Mahomes would probably be your number 1 quarterback.
He'd be your MVP this week.
Yeah, so he only threw for 256 yards, but 4 touchdowns. 1, 2, 3, 4 touchdowns. And he also gave 21 yards on the ground with his legs.
Yeah.
So that always helps out.
Pretty
Kareem
good.
Hunt didn't look great. He had 16 rushes for 49 yards, no catches.
Ugh.
And that's the part that really is going to start bumming you out. Spencer Ware got in the game with a little touches. Damian Williams caught a couple passes. I mean, he caught a deflection pass.
Who didn't catch a couple passes?
Travis Kelce hurt you.
Yeah, Travis Kelce, 1 for 6 yards. We'll see how this continues with Patrick Mahomes. I'll tell you what, Patrick Mahomes only has 1 pitch, and it's a fastball. He doesn't lay them up there. When he throws it, he zips them in there.
Hence Tyreek Hill's productivity
Yeah.
because he can catch them.
Tyreek Hill did go in concussion protocol for a little bit there, but he was cleared and came back into the game.
How'd Sammy Watkins do?
Ooh,
Yeah, he did not look good.
that
Really?
was yeah.
2 catches. He kind of catch the first pass that Mahomes completed was a Sammy Watkins. You thought it was going to be a big Sammy Watkins day, and then I don't think he got another catch till the fourth quarter.
He had 3 for 21.
Yeah,
Not good.
Where are all these yards coming then from Mahomes?
it wasn't a lot of yards. There's only 256 yards. So
Most of them.
2
went
of his
to Tyreek
touchdowns
Hill.
were little shuffle passes right in front of him.
256 yards. 169 of them went to Hill.
Yeah, I was gonna say there must have.
So
Yeah.
and 2 of the touchdowns were just little flip plays on the goal line.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of touchdowns. It was not that efficient of a game, but it looked really good for Patrick Mahomes. His first drive looked good. He kind of stumbled, and then he went on. Phillip Rivers, though, 424 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception.
It's a pretty good day.
It looked good for Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers still doing what Phillip Rivers does. He gave a little bit on the ground, not a lot, though. He did what Phillip Rivers does, just falls like right in front of it, just so he doesn't take a sack. Melvin Gordon, though, looked amazing. Actually, both these running backs look good.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because if you watch the first half of this game, other than Keenan Allen, every wide receiver said, I'm not catching the ball today. Travis Benjamin caught 2 touchdowns that were in his hands. Terrence Williams had another touchdown hit him right in the hands and said, I guess I'll just let that one fall down too.
Next time.
Yeah.
How'd Mike Williams look? A lot of big sleep.
So Mike Williams actually didn't look bad. 5 receptions, 81 yards.
It's pretty good.
Melvin Gordon's numbers, though, on the ground, not good, only 64 yards, but he had 9 receptions for 102 yards, no touchdowns. Then Austin Eckler had 39 yards on the ground, then 5 receptions for 87 yards and a touchdown. Keenan Allen, though, was the big winner here, I think. 8 receptions, 108 yards, and a touchdown. He was, in the second half, he was just all over that Kansas City defense that I think we thought was suspect, and I think we finally started seeing the little weaknesses in it. And the Chargers started playing right. And then Antonio Gates. So he didn't really do much. He had a 2-point conversion and 2 catches for 16 yards. But they're actually using him on the goal line. I think that's the thing people need to realize. When they get down the goal line, I think Antonio Gates is going to be a target. Because he was the read on that 2-point conversion play. It was a quick hike and just a little lob right over the top of the defense, right in Antonio Gates' lap. So I think that's as the season goes on, Antonio Gates could be a lot like what Jimmy Graham was last year, where he's just going to be a touchdown-dependent tight end. But, I mean, I made Jimmy Graham in top 5 tight end last year.
He did okay.
Did okay, yeah, okay. All right, Josh, you want to end it off with the Seahawks at your Denver Broncos?
Whew. Well, first of all, it was a great win for Denver. I'll say that. I'll start it off on the other side of the ball, though, with Seattle. Russell Wilson still was productive despite not having Doug Baldwin pretty much the entire game. Did you guys pick Will Dissly to be your –
Yes, totally knew it.
You picked Will Dissly?
Oh my God, who is this guy?
3 for 105 yards with 1
Good for
touchdown.
him. He's a 4th-round pick, a blocking tight end, and he.
Good job, Will
Yeah,
Dissly.
good for you, man. I'm gonna pick you up.
Proud of you. I probably won't pick you up just because I have no clue. I mean, he spread the ball around so much. It just seemed like Will Dissly was the one who benefited today.
So you're calling it a fluke?
I don't know, man. It was bananas, dude.
Hold on, no. That's not the bananas. Get to the other guy. That's the bananas.
We'll get to that in a minute.
There's another wide receiver on Seahawks that was bananas.
We'll get to that in a minute. So
Gwen Stefani.
Russell Wilson still had 298 yards and 3 touchdowns. He did throw 2 picks. The issue is they had a running game going with Chris Carson. He did fumble, but Chris Carson had 7 rushes for 51 yards. Rashad Penny, 7 rushes for 8 yards. So probably should have let Chris Carson run the ball. They only ran it 14 times on plan runs. They had 2 more, but those were by Russell Wilson. He only had 5 yards rushing, so that was kind of a disappointment. Will Dissly was your leading pass catcher from that, so good job for you. Tyler Lockett, 3 for 59 with a touchdown, but 51 of those yards came on a touchdown on one play, so don't put too much into that. Rashad Penny did get some numbers in the passing game, 4 for 35. Brandon Marshall,
Yeah.
he's back.
And looking good.
Yeah, 3 for 46 with a T.
And he should have had another touchdown, but they said he pushed off.
Well, maybe he did.
Or Devin Funch's type numbers, but still productive.
But the touchdown, though, that's the difference,
If he
right?
gets that second touchdown without the push off,
If you're going to catch 3 for 46 in one, I mean, that's a good way to go.
Putting up
And-
points there on the waiver wire.
But yeah, so we thought Nick Vanette was going to be the tight end that was going to be in the Jimmy Graham role, and it ended up being Will Dissly. So that was surprising. And then on the other side of the ball, my Denver Broncos, 25 for 39 for Mr. Case Keenum, 329 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. The issue though, 3 interceptions. Excuse me. I remember he threw that first one, and it was just like he didn't even know Earl Thomas existed. Guess what? He's pretty good, guys. I need to shoot Case a text and be like, hey, maybe not throw it near Earl. Anyway, you still did well. So the surprise of the game, though, is we had 2 running backs in this game that were heavily involved. Both of them had 15 carries for 71 yards. Now, if you're saying, well, was one Devontae Booker and the other one was Royce Freeman? You'd be wrong. One of them was Royce Freeman. The other one, Philip Lindsay. Because I'm a Denver Broncos fan, and I had to research and figure out who this guy was. But he looks like a solid ad right now. He even had 2 catches for 31 yards and a touchdown. Amazing. The offense looks so much better with Case Keenum under center. Emmanuel Sanders,
Can you look up Lindsey's starting percentage?
oh yeah, I'm on it.
Sorry to interrupt, Josh.
So, yeah, that's fine. I bet that Philip Lindsay was started in 0% of leagues. No, maybe some leagues, like 16-team leagues, stuff like that. But Emmanuel Sanders had a great game. We already talked about that earlier. Demaryius Thomas, DT, got 6 for 63 and a touchdown. So the 2 main pass catchers did pretty well. Cortland Sutton was involved. He was, I think, probably the best rookie pass catcher out of all the teams today. And he only had 2 for 45. So
You want that percentage?
what is the percentage?
So ownership percentage is 1.9 on ESPN.
Solid.
Start percentage is 0.1.
0.1?
0.1. So his mom.
So,
His mom's out there started. Or he started himself.
oh,
Yeah.
man. Jake Butt, 2 for 20. I mean, the Broncos' offense looked good with Case Keenum under center. We had there was 142 rushing yards between those 2 backs. Things are looking up, guys. I mean, this Seattle defense was bad. Let's be honest; they've lost a lot of starters. They lost a lot of corners. So, and the Broncos, it doesn't hurt to have a guy like Von Miller. The defense was, despite letting up 24 points, they were actually playing very well. Yeah, I don't know. It was an interesting game. It was a good game. I'm happy that the Broncos won, and I'm also happy that Russell Wilson still performed pretty well, despite having virtually no one to throw to and no one protecting him.
So is Philip Lindsay your waiver wire target this week?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Him and
to be
the,
that involved.
Disley.
And I would say that you could probably go ahead and drop Devontae Booker.
Yeah.
We'll see.
No, drop him. He's
We'll
dead
see.
to me. He's dead
See
to
you next
me.
week.
No. Okay. So we do have 2 more games to cover.
We do.
So in
I'll
my
take
infinite
this
wisdom,
one.
I went ahead and skipped the Thursday night game.
Yeah, it's all right. It already happened. It's yesterday's news. What have you done for me lately? Well, what Philly did for their city is they won the game. They're 1-0. They beat Atlanta Thursday night 18-12. Here's some stats. Matt Ryan, 251 yards, 1 pick, no touchdowns. That's it. That's it for Matt Ryan. Devonta Freeman, he had 6 carries, 36 yards, and didn't really. Nope.
And he hurt his knee.
He did. I was getting there. He had 3 receptions for 14 yards. So yeah, his numbers look low, but like Brad just said, he did hurt himself and he had to be pulled from the game, which is kind of a tough hit, especially since that was the first game and week 1, back to football, all that, and then fantasy owners have to suffer through that. But it could be worse. You could have him and Delaney Walker. Tevin Coleman came in, then rushed 9 times for 19 yards and a touchdown. He caught 1 pass for 26 yards. But Julio Jones, man, did he show up. He had a Julio Jones type game. Julio Jones, big game. 10 receptions for 169 yards. And Matt Ryan just had a bit of a better game. He probably could have had a touchdown, but he didn't. No touchdowns. Tevin Coleman was the only one who got an offensive touchdown in this game for Atlanta, and that was on the ground. Moving over to the Eagles, Nick Foles threw for 117 yards. That's right. That was all 4 quarters. Oh.
Oh.
And he threw 1 pick. Nelson Aguilar was 1 for 1 with 15 yards. So he's catching up to Nick Foles there. They do think Carson Wentz is going to be back next week. They haven't ruled him out yet. So if you're starting Nick Foles, sorry, because he had a terrible week. And don't start him next week. But Jay Ajayi, 15 carries, 62 yards, and 2 touchdowns, compared to Corey Clements, 5 carries for 26 yards. So everyone was so high on Corey Clement, saying, he's going to be the back like we did in the Super Bowl, like we did in the postseason last year. No, it's Jay Ajayi. Man, he had a great day. Well, those 2 touchdowns really made him look like he had a great day, but he only had 62 yards, and as we know, he doesn't catch out of the backfield. Go ahead, Brad.
He's a young version of LeGarrette Blount.
Is he
just
young,
put it that
though?
way. Yeah, I mean, his knees aren't probably, but the rest of him is.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
And they did
Zach
play
Ertz, 5 receptions, 48 yards, no touchdowns. Nelson Aguilar, 8 receptions for 33 yards. Pretty decent day. And then Darren Sproles, 4 receptions, 22 yards. Ageless wonder. But again, the only touchdowns coming on the ground, just like Atlanta's Tevin Coleman, it was Jay Ajayi's 2 touchdowns. A low-scoring game, came down to the wire. Philly pulled it out. Kind of a boring way to kick off 2018 season, but it is what it is. Let's move on to the game that just ended here on Sunday night. We got the Bears visiting Green Bay.
So we got the Bears at Green Bay, right? The biggest story, I think, from this was Aaron Rodgers going down, grabbing his knee, being carted off, but then coming back, right? DeShone Kizer came in there and did DeShone Kizer things and turned the ball over twice, and it looked gross. And I was looking at what team Green Bay plays next week because that was the defense I was going to fire up. But then Aaron Rodgers came back in there, and he finishes the game with 286 yards and 3 touchdowns, just like Aaron Rodgers does, and just dominates everybody. The running backs in Green Bay, Jonathan Williams got most of the work. Or no, it's not Jonathan Williams, is it?
Yeah, it was Jonathan Williams.
Jonathan Williams. I get all these Williamses mixed up. Jonathan Williams, it's late.
think it's
15
Jamal.
carries.
It's Jamal.
It's Jamal. See, that's what I told you guys.
Yeah, it's definitely not Jonathan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jonathan Williams
Told
is
you.
the guy that got cut from the Saints and re-signed by the. There we go.
Jonathan Stewart.
All right.
All right, well,
Let's push
it's getting
through.
late.
Come on.
Let's get this over with. All right, 47 yards and no touchdowns. Ty Montgomery had 2 carries for 7 yards. This Green Bay rushing attack is what this Green Bay rushing attack is when Aaron Rodgers is in there. It's kind of – it may have a big game, but usually, especially how they were down, they didn't utilize the run game a lot. Receiving-wise, though, Randall Cobb, 9 receptions, 142 yards, and that long touchdown he got, which was a 75-yard touchdown, by the way.
Which I commentated.
Yes, he did. Devontae Adams looked good with 5 receptions for 88 yards and a touchdown. Geronimo Allison got 5 receptions for 69 yards and a touchdown. And then Ty Montgomery had 2 catches for 21 yards. He did have a long one called back on a holding call.
What about Equanimous?
Nope.
Oh, they need to play him just so they can say his name.
None of those rookies showed up in the stat sheet. Jimmy Graham had 2 catches for 8 yards. Yep,
Ooh.
exactly. So let's move over to Chicago side, the losing side of Chicago. It was really good on the first drive down there. Mr. Trubisky, passing-wise, didn't do a whole lot. 171 yards. He did add 32 yards on the ground and a touchdown. So his bottom line stat line isn't going to look terrible for you in fantasy. Jordan Howard had 82 yards on the ground on 15 carries. And here's a surprising stat. He had 5 receptions for 25 yards on 5 targets. That's no drops. I think somebody fixed their hands.
Or he's just being utilized better.
Yeah, probably both. Tariq Cohen also had 5 carries, but only 25 yards, which is still 5 yards carry. If I did math that right.
How'd
Yeah.
How'd he do? How'd the other guy do?
Who we got the guy? Tariq Cohen?
No. Trey Burton.
Trey Burton. Trey Watch, 2018. 1 catch, 15 yards.
Oh.
I do want to say a
Oh.
lot of tight ends did not do well. Your number 2 tight end in the week was Will Dissly.
Exactly. He couldn't even beat out Will Dissly.
Okay, well, most people did beat out Will Dissly, according.
Allen Robinson, I think he's back healthy from that knee injury. He had 4 catches for 61 yards. Taylor Gabriel had 5 catches for 25 yards. Really, this passing game, Trubisky threw the ball more, but we're still seeing the type of yardage that we saw last year on more attempts and more completions.
It's
Yeah.
still Chicago.
Well,
They still
Trey
lost.
Burton did outperform Travis Kelce, so I will say that.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
But Khalil Mack looked like a machine out there.
Yeah, he almost killed A-Rod.
Yeah, and then he also caught a touchdown of the defense.
Yeah, despite his best efforts, they still lost. But, man, he did have a great game.
So this Bears defense didn't look terrible.
Their linebacker core is great.
Yep. Anything else you guys want to add?
If you picked Philip Lindsay to outscore Alfred, or if you picked him to outscore Lamar Miller, Leonard Fournette, Peyton Barber, and Kareem Hunt, you were correct.
Woo!
I just want to
Go buy a lotto ticket because you obviously know the Powerball numbers
Yeah,
too.
I know. You obviously can look
Alfred
into the
Blue
future.
also outscored Leonard Fournette this week.
All right, so there's 2 more games on the schedule. Tomorrow's night's games, the Monday night games. We have the Oakland Raiders at the Rams.
Woo!
And the other game is
The Jets and Lions.
Jets at Lions.
That's going to be
That's good.
fun one.
Yeah, that's a fire game right there.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, I'm
So,
assuming it'll
if you want to listen to
like the
previews,
Baltimore
check out our last
Roughriders.
episode. We'll tell you all about those Monday night games.
Start Jordy, start Amari Cooper.
I'm ready to go to bed, guys. What about you?
I
I
guess.
think we can wrap it up.
You want to wrap this thing up?
Mm-hmm.
And from all of us here at the Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast, thanks for listening in again. Get our Week 1 recap. Stay tuned next week for our Week 2 recap. And I think we're going to do another episode later on this week to do a Week 2 preview. Follow us on Twitter at EmptyWagonFF to hit us up during the week with any questions and see what we're tweeting out and see what happens to these teams during this week as they prepare for Week 2. Have a good week, y'all.
Don't panic yet. It's only 1 week.
Overreactions!